And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're talking about Windrunner. Now, there are some times where I often complain in my reviews about games that have the same theme as everything else. For example, there is way too many shipping in the Mediterranean games. There's way too many zombie games. There's way too many Dungeons and Dragons style themed games. So I'm always looking for something new and refreshing. But there are occasionally themes that come across that when that theme comes, you're pretty sure that that is the only game that's going to have that theme ever. And I think Windrunners. Because what this is a race of skinny people. And people who are so thin that the wind is pushing you all around the track as you're running. All right. I did not know such a race existed, but apparently here it does. Let's take a look. Here's the racetrack, and you have to get your person from start to finish. First person to cross the finish line is the winner, although in case of a tie, there's extra spaces to see who goes the farthest. These two big black blocks here are basically obstacles that you can put in people's spots. And there's two dice that players will roll each turn to show you what direction the wind is blowing, south or north, and how far it will blow your people. So it's going to blow you away from the finish line or blow you to the finish line. I guess we could be fortunate that it's not blowing west or east, but I thought that would have been maybe a little bit interesting. So the game has a certain number of rounds depending on how many players there are in the game, and each round has 6 turns, and you can move twice in the very first turn. Now, what each turn will happen is someone will roll the dice to see the direction and the speed of the wind. Then players are going to take from a handful of cards that they have. Each card shows one of the runners. Here we have a pizza boy delivery. Here we have your typical schoolgirl. Here you have a guy who looks like he escaped from the hospital. Here we have a skinny businessman. These people aren't really that skinny. And then I suppose here we have a housewife. So you have the different people who are involved in the game. And you're going to play one of those cards and show that card how it works. So first you will use the card and then you will apply wind damage or wind movement to everybody. Now, what do the cards let you do? The cards have different abilities. This one here simply lets you move 1 space forward. Pretty simple. This one here lets you move forward 1 space diagonally. Also very easy. This one lets you move 1 or 2 spaces to the side. This one here lets you switch spaces with someone who's in the same row or the same column with you. This one here lets you move one of the barriers. You can stick it in front of somebody so they can't move. This one here, which looks like you're getting ready to run quickly, basically lets you avoid the wind. The wind has no effect on you that turn. And this one here reverses the direction of the wind. The wind was south, now it's going to be north. Obviously, several people can reverse the wind back and forth as the game progresses. So everyone's going to play all the cards that they have. However, when they're down to just 1 card, the round is over. So you don't have to use all your cards. So I can play. So 1 left. I get to gather these and do it again. And so eventually somebody is going to cross the finish line. So knowing when to play your cards is pretty critical. Obviously, you want to go forward, but you're going to be moving forward mostly by the effects of the wind because it will blow north half the time and south half the time. It's when it blows south that you need to figure out how do I not get blown too far off course. You can even put these barricades behind you to prevent yourself from being blown backwards. There's all sorts of little strategies that you can play. In essence, it's a very simple race game. I have to give Dyneco points for the theme. The theme is very funny, very interesting, and the game itself is a unique idea. Although I still think it wouldn't have been bad to have the wind maybe blow you sideways. The game itself is it's your typical play a card, do the action on that card, and then you run out of cards. Maybe there's a little bit of programming to it to some degree. I mean, it does matter sometimes who goes first. You have turn order discs for that. So it has that Robo Rally type feeling, mixed with a bit of Get Bit. I guess it's different than most games that I played, but it doesn't have as much strategy as you might think. because you could get into a great position, you could maneuver well, and you could just get really unlucky and move into a row and you're 6 spaces in front of somebody else, and just you didn't expect to be there. They didn't even know you were going to be there, and they played the switch. That switch card is really powerful, and really, I can see that it's neat because it means you're never totally out of the race, but at the same time, it can really make races crazy and interesting. I like it, this game, but only as a light filler, something that I would play kind of while I'm waiting to do something else. It would never be like a game I would suggest if someone said, hey, let's play Windrunner. I'd say, oh yeah, sure, it's not a bad little game. And then I would play it once and I would say, good, now what's next? I don't think I have the urge to continually play it over and over again. That being said, like I said, I'll give it points for style, for its cool idea. The components are decent. The artwork is funny and the theme is funny, and kids will get a kick out of this one. It might be a way for you to progress them into more detailed programming games where you put down cards and actually see how things work. So it's a good idea. It's decently executed, so it makes for a decent game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door!
That's right. Shut it.
There.